So actually we had a session in 1 hour, which I think he must be covering for the whole day. So we got a good summary. So whoever wants to have some doubts later, I think is available throughout the day. Now for the second session, even in world, this economic forum, one of the issues which people have expressed was that availability of skills. One thing is that India, we are all good. The fact that many of the leading organizations in US is led by Indians, and also the number of H1B visas which we get, we dominate the scene. So if you ask me, education system, whatever people are saying, we have one of the largest number of universities in the world and one of the largest education system in the world. So this session is about how education system should embrace newer methodology and technology to prepare future ready leaders in India's Viksit Bharat. This is going to be a big challenge, for which we have two expert, very experienced educators who are here to share their thoughts. Right now we have Dr. Vani Kamath. She is the professor at the D.Y. Patil University School of Management. And she has about 20 years of experience teaching management. As you are all aware, D.Y. Patil is one of the leading universities in India, and they have all types of curriculum. And she represents the School of Management. And first, we would like to hear her views on how they are preparing to train students.
She was also earlier dean also, and she has done a lot of research, and she is a very valuable.
Earlier, she was the dean of that D.Y. Patil University School of Management. Now she is a senior professor there.
Yes.
She has published a lot of research articles. I had a chance to deliver 2 or 3 guest lectures in that university. So I am happy to invite her to come and share her thoughts.
Welcome, madam.
You want PPT they want to use, yeah.
PPT data. You can fully use anywhere.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. We another, it is half an hour.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Very good morning to the august crowd, and I'm very happy to be in between all these distinguished guests who are present here. And it gives me immense pleasure to be the part of this event, because this is something which I was always looking for. So if you see, there is always a gap between industry and academia. And by taking this initiative, I think Narendra sir, he is bridging this gap between industry and academia, which is something which is very, very good for us, right? Okay, so now if you want me to introduce Bharat, all of us are the citizens of the country, right? And in Bharat there is one famous shloka, Sanskrit shloka, which says, Janani Janma Bhumischa Svargayasi Gatiyasi, right? So that means what? Janani and Janma Bhumi, these are very sacred in our lives. That is mother and Janmabhoomi, the nation in which we were born, are something which are very sacred to us. It is more greater than our heaven, right? So basically we believe that when we are particularly studying in a particular country, we need to be thinking about the development of the country. So in this regard, the government has taken a very good initiative known as Viksit Bharat 2047. The initiative of the government is to make India a developed nation by its centenary year, that is 2047. So immediately after 100 years, we would all see India to be on the top, just like US, China, where they are leading now. So India also will be in the top position By doing this, we are trying to ensure a sustainable development and also inclusive progress in the country. So what is something which is very much important for us? If you see the history of Bharat, we had universities like Nalanda, we had Vikramshila, we had other universities also which were very famous. And all these were very world-renowned universities. And we had people like Aryabhatta, we had people like Ramanujam, and we have people like Shakuntala Devi, who made a difference in our country through their research and through their intellectual capacity. Now, after the invasion of Britishers in the country, there has been lot of development. The youth of today is basically trying to imitate them, right? We are trying to imitate them, and even if we are highly educated, they are trying to go to foreign countries or abroad for further studies. Because of this brain drain which is happening in India, we are not still in the top of the education system. Once upon a time, we were the world leaders when it comes to, in ancient times, when it comes to mathematics, when it comes to astronomy, we were the leaders. But there has been a gap in this direction, and because of which we are still facing issues. So now, as youngsters, we need to have entire responsibilities on our shoulders. And bridging the gap between education and academics has, education and industry has become a paramount importance for us in this direction. Okay, so now I have certain case studies which I would like to present here, which we are currently using in our system. Right? So these are the case studies which are not only from India, but from other parts of the countries also, from India and also from the other parts of the countries. So here I am going to give you a direction as to how currently we are integrating the system, that is technology and also the education system in our country, so that it is giving us immense results. Right? So if you see the statistics of India, we can say that India is a country which has got lot of demographic dividend. We have lot of people in the category of youth, but still we are not able to reach the top. The basic reason for this is that we are not utilizing the technology in an efficient manner in the education system. So when we use technology and we integrate technology in the education system, definitely we will also be #1 university in the globe. Okay. So let us see what are the factors which are basically important for us to do this. Okay, so I will be going to present on case studies, certain case studies wherein we are integrating new education system patterns and also the technology, the new technology which is being used in the education pattern. I am going to talk about it for some time. Then there is a need for innovative curriculum. What is the basic need of innovative curriculum and what is the outcome of this situation in the country? Okay, so now if we give the example of Finland, we are just comparing ourselves with the other parts of the country and also with the foreign universities. So if we consider Finland and if you see how they have been doing when it comes to the space of education. So they are basically using AI to a greater extent. When it comes to artificial intelligence is imbibed in their curriculum, and they are basically talking on climate change. So now, the basic goal of each and every country is to develop a country through our SDG goals. Right? So, and climate change is one of the basic issues which we are all facing. So in Finland, what they are basically doing is, they are introducing this concept of climate change through various types of projects to the students. So they are not explaining it in the class as to what climate change. They are asking the students to go out and do the projects related to climate change. And by doing this, they are giving them the broad idea about science. They are giving them the broad idea of your mathematics and history and economics, etc. So the NEP, National Education Policy 2020, which is a major initiative of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, right? So this has implemented the same system. This policy has implemented the similar kind of system wherein maximum emphasis is given to the multidisciplinary subjects. right? So the students are supposed to choose not only economics, if they are having interest in maths, they can choose maths, they can choose history, they can choose or any other topic for that matter. So one initiative we have already taken in the country, wherein we are basically talking about how can we improve the education system, right? So multidisciplinary teaching and also interdisciplinary teaching. So for example, I'll give one example of what has happened in my institute. So we have given the opportunity for the students to choose the subjects as per their area of interest. It was not given as a compulsory subject to them. We have a bucket of subjects which are offered to the students, and students are supposed to choose the subject based on their area of interest. So when they do this, they will excel in the fields. Just like what was the thing which was being practiced during Nalanda, being Takshila and Vikramshila types, right? So we also have introduced the same system wherein we are making the student a complete student, right? So he is specializing in various areas which gives him an opportunity to understand the things. So just like how Finland, they have been practicing the system, even in India we have introduced, but it is still in the nascent stage. So we still have how many more years for 2047? We have about 22 years for 2047. So I'm 100% sure within these 22 years, we will be able to reach the top with the introduction of national education policy and also with the integration of technology which happens in this field. So using softwares. Okay, so LMS is something, a platform which we can use, which integrates artificial intelligence into the system, and it makes the student tech savvy. Student is able to upload all his presentations and everything in a software which is known as LMS, right? And also, when it comes to the classroom teaching, the student gets the benefit of learning the new concepts through the cases, live cases which have actually taken place. They are taken to the industry on a regular basis and they are given the knowledge in that way. Okay. So when it comes to India, right? India is being a developing country and we have lot of villages, and in remote areas it becomes very difficult for us to reach. So there is an initiative which has been taken by the country wherein even if you do not have a smartphone, if we consider rural India, many of them are living in BPL families. So they may not have the access to the technology which we have. So in that case, the best initiative which the government has taken is to have a mobile and then provide services through mobile or provide them study materials through SMS and other platforms. Even if a student has a particular mobile, that student is able to access to that particular services. So Baiju and Diksha, these are the two initiatives which we can see here when it comes to integration of technology in the country. Okay, so tablets and smartphones, offline apps have become very famous in the rural area, which is basically developing our education system to a greater extent. United States, if we talk about United States, the basic difference between India and United States is that the technology, that there is a basic technology or there is a vast difference between the technology which they are using in the classrooms and we are using in the classroom. When it comes to AI, when it comes to machine learning, when it comes to your artificial intelligence, US is far ahead of India in this area. So artificial intelligence is basically demonstrated through an institute which is known as Carnegie Learning, which is basically engaging the students through AI platforms. So when the students are engaged through AI platforms, it gives them a proper understanding about the technological interventions which basically happens in education and research. Okay, then in Kenya, we all know that Kenya is just like, it's far behind India, right? It's far behind India. And when it comes to Kenya, they are also believing in SMS-based learning because they are not able to have access to the internet on a regular basis, so they will always believe in SMS-based learning. When it comes to Singapore, right, Singapore is also considered much ahead of India when it comes to technological integration. So here customization has basically happening for the customers through the AI integration. So AI technology is on a regular basis used in this institute, and then students are able to understand the curriculum and the usage of AI. Okay, students will have AI tutors for personal learning. Right, so personal learning happens wherein the faculty is not present in front of the student. AI is present and you can ask any type of doubts to the AI platform, and AI is able to answer all the kind of questions in Singapore. So when it comes to Singapore, we are much behind Singapore also when it comes to technological integration. But if we are able to have the integration, definitely it will be, we will be able to achieve success in the very shorter time. Okay. So now, what is the basic need? Okay, lots of developments are happening in the AI field, and it's the financial services. The speaker who spoke before me basically talked about the AI applications in the organization which he will be having, and he currently has. So when it comes to industry and education system, right, there are vast differences, right? And industry uses it to a greater extent because their basic objective is to engage the customers and also to have more and more customers on a regular basis. But whereas when it comes to education system, the scenario becomes totally different. Even though we have good customers, AI integration is something which is a good, students, AI integration is something which we are a little bit far off, right, when it comes to education. So we need to increase the need, or we need to have more and more AI applications in our education curriculum. Okay, now there are some institutes which are using these new concepts which are known as virtual reality and augmented reality. So initially, if we had to understand some concepts or we had to learn some concepts when I was a student, it was the faculty who used to provide us all the experiences by bringing in new case studies to the class. But when it comes to AI technology and when it comes to VR and AR, so basically we are talking about a total different experience, wherein if a student wants to study, wants to visit any kind of historical place or historical monument which is situated in China, we can get that facility sitting here. That overall experience of having a VR and AR facility is available by sitting in your place. That means what? You don't have to visit China to get that experience. So that is what is the beauty of your AR and VR technology in the education system. Many of the reputed institutes in India have gone through this kind of system, and they are giving good experience to the students where it feels that he or she is visiting that particular place in general. So the experience is totally different through this. And then definitely AI-powered tools is something which we are in need of. Okay. So next is accessibility and inclusivity. E-learning platforms and assistive technologies will always help an individual to be accessible, and also it will have an inclusive system in the education pattern. Okay, preparing students for a future workplace, tech integration and critical thinking and problem solving. So if you need to develop the creative skills of an individual, you can do it only by having newer and newer technologies, because our current generation is much ahead of us. When it comes to technology, it is much ahead of us. So one of the best example which I would like to give you here is that Coldplay event. Right? So I'm very happy to inform you that we were the host for Coldplay concert which happened recently for 3 days in our stadium. So the kind of technology that we used is something which was really awesome. And the students, I can say that I was one of the visitors for one of the event, one of the day. And if you see the people who visited Coldplay, all of them were the students who were in the teenage and also definitely in their early 20s. The kind of technology which was basically used there was awesome. We are always talking about sustainable development, and anyone who has visited this concert would definitely agree with me that we had lot of solar panels. We were having the energy of that particular singer, which is transformed into the motion energy, right? Which was transformed into the motion energy, and definitely it was basically used. So if you had visited that particular concert, you would agree with me that AI is being used. And students, The majority of the students who visited this event have witnessed this kind of transformation, right? There was no waste, right? Even though some waste was managed, right? NMMC has taken the initiative of waste management techniques, but still, as far as possible, the institute has seen that there is a lot of waste management techniques which is being used in the concert, right? Okay. Next, data-driven insights, learning analytics and feedback loops, right? So now, as a measure or as an initiative towards this, we have introduced the course known as business analytics. So business analytics is done in consultation with industry. So when we are doing it in consultation with the industry people come to our institute and campus and they teach it. So we are trying to bridge the gap between them. Okay. So promoting lifelong learning. So micro-learning is something which is basically leading to the success of any individual, right? So we need to go for more of micro-learning models and definitely hybrid models. Hybrid models wherein after the COVID-19, we have observed that there has been a lot of development which is happening in the online sector. So the combination of your offline and online section will always lead to success. If when I take my lecture, now I am not restricting myself only to the classroom teaching. I am just going to ChatGPT, I am taking the contents from there, I am involving the students in some of the quiz which happens through ChatGPT and also through other patterns which are basically used through your artificial intelligence. So when we do that, students are also kept abreast with the system and the latest technology, and we are able to deliver future leaders through this initiative of ours. Okay. Okay, so now, when we talk about the outcome, after taking so much of initiative, what will be the outcome? That is something which we will have to see. Future-ready universities is something which we are looking for under the initiative of Viksit Bharat at 2047. So that means what? Industry is looking for some kind of skills in the students. And as educators, it's our duty to provide those skilled individuals to the industry to a greater extent. So the future leaders, when they are accompanied with such kind of skills, definitely it becomes easier for the industry to recruit them and also to engage them in their day-to-day activities. So as an institute, it's our responsibility to develop future-ready universities and also future-ready students. Academia and industry collaboration, as I just mentioned, if the initiatives like such kind of conferences can be conducted in all the universities, definitely there will be a greater gap which we can have, a greater bridge between the gap which we are basically facing. Okay, so now I was just talking to one of the distinguished expert in this field. So many of the universities in India currently are proposing to have industry interaction within the students, between the students, right? So that is something which is a great initiative, which is called as Industry Institute Interaction, wherein the faculty from the industry comes on regular intervals to the colleges and talks about the implementation strategies which has to be done. The second method is sending the students to live projects. We, in our institute or the university, have the system of having the live project in each semester, wherein we encourage the students to go to the industry, work there, and come back and gain experience out of this. So when we do this, they are always on the edge compared to the other competitors in their field of education. Right? They will always have the on the top when it is compared to their other counterparts. Okay, international ranking. Okay, unfortunately, if we talk about the international ranking of our Bharat, I'm very sad to share this figure with you that if you take the QS ranking, right? No, our Indian in universities, not even IIT, not even IIM, stands in the first 100 universities. So that is something which is a very sad part of it. That is basically because of this technological gap which we are having. The other universities in US, UK, basically are on the top of the list basically because of the technological interventions which they are using on a regular basis, and the integration of technology in their curriculum has made them to be on the top. So in order to reach to the top 100, we still have some more years, right? And if we are able to follow the same system which is basically happening in other countries, definitely we can also be on the top. So in order to do that, what is the basic requirement? The students of India should always be staying in India to make India different. That is one of the things. Instead of brain drain, if we are able to make our students the totally new student, definitely it is possible for us to have Viksit Bharat in 2047. When it comes to infrastructure improvement is something which has to happen on a regular basis. It can be related to the latest technologies that you are using in your infrastructure. It can be in the form of AI intelligence which you are using in your infrastructure. So when you are combining all these aspects in your education system, definitely it is possible for us to see Viksit Bharat by 2047. International collaboration is also one of the initiatives which can be taken by universities. So if when you are collaborating with international universities, you would be able to adopt the practices, best practices, which are being practiced by them at the international level. So this is something which will enhance our system, education system to a greater extent. Alumni support. One of the case study of IIMs and IITs, which are known as top institutes of India, and everybody is desirous to undergo courses under this. The basic reason why they are on the top is basically because of alumni support, which they are getting from their own alumni. So when we adopt to this system, definitely all the universities will be able to be on the top by another 5 years. The soft skills and interdisciplinary education is also, which will be the outcome. I have already explained, India has taken an initiative under NEP, National Education Policy 2020. We have taken a major initiative wherein we are introducing interdisciplinary subjects to the student. A student who is doing a medicine can also study management. The student who is studying history can also study the subject of economics. So this is the latest initiative which is taken by the government, and when we are trying to make it possible in our country, and we are able to enhance the education system only by having this interdisciplinary system. The student can do lot of research, lot of patents can be published. One of the gray area of the country is we are lagging in research. Other countries are always ahead of us. Basic reason for this is that they are always ahead of us in research and also publication of patents. So that is something which is one of the gray area. If we can work out on this area, definitely, as youngsters or as citizens of India, we can always take our country to the top. We don't have to wait for 2047. We can do it by 2030 also. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Vani Kamath. It was an excellent speech, inspiring speech. And she has also pushed the goal ahead from 2047 to 2035. Yes. I think with professors like you, it should be possible. We would like to